Rick, thanks for joining me. Rick Mazur, President, CEO, and Director of Forum Energy Metals. You're my first interview here at VRIC. Morning drive. I haven't been here in 3 years. It's another beautiful rainy day in Vancouver.
Typical.
Beats -5 in Toronto.
Well, yeah, it's Toronto's a great place too. I grew up there.
Nice. Well, I'm sure we have some things in common then. We're going to go for a little spin and get into the company, so stay tuned for the morning drive. So, Rick, you recently closed the financing of just over $2 million. How do you plan on spending the funds?
Yeah, that was a good, easy financing because we've got a great product to sell to our investors, and right now we're continuing drilling at our 100% owned Wollaston Uranium Project in the Athabasca basin. So that's the start of the use of proceeds. And we're also gearing up to get organized for our Nunavut Uranium exploration program, which we're very excited about.
Yeah, do you want to get into that in more detail?
Sure. Yeah. So Forum explored in what is called the Thelon Basin in Nunavut back in the last uranium bull market between 2004 and 2011. And the reason we were there is the Thelon Basin is a sandstone basin that's very similar. In fact, it's identical to the Athabasca Basin in Saskatchewan, and it has an economic uranium deposit that is owned by Orano, the French nuclear corporation, that has 133 million pounds of mineable reserve, and we were exploring there. Cameco was exploring there back at the same time, and I've kept my eyes on it for over 10 years.
Right.
And I noticed that the claims that Cameco held came open, so I jumped on it and staked that ground. And Cameco, spent about $50 million on that, made two very significant discoveries, which to me prove that the Thelon Basin in Nunavut could be the next Athabasca Basin, because it's a geological comp, for sure.
So why do you think they walked away from the project?
Oh, well, yeah, when after post-Fukushima, when things were on the downturn in our uranium business, there was a change in leadership there. Tim Gitzel came on board.
Okay.
In the phase between 2004 to 2012, Cameco was exploring around the world.
Right.
They had a different focus, but post Fukushima, they retrenched and basically under the new leadership decided to focus strictly on their Athabasca Basin assets, and all of their exploration around the world kind of was curtailed.
Okay, so there's other people out there staking some of their projects that they gave up on too.
Yeah, haven't heard of anything else, but yeah, that's what happened.
Do you have anyone that you've joint ventured with on any of your projects? Yeah,
I mean, we're what I call a hybrid project generator. So we've got a strong technical team. And we look for good quality projects. I mean, we started the company in 2004. I mean, I've been pretty dedicated to making a discovery for my shareholders for 18 years and going on 19. So, anyways, we pick up ground that we see becomes available, and sometimes our business model has always been to do good quality work and at least do one drill campaign in these projects, and then maybe move on and find a partner. So over the years We've got Orano as a partner on our Fur Island project. We've recently entered into a deal with a small junior called Sassy Resources that's working on our High Rock project near the Key Lake mine. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we look for partnerships, and we're actually looking for partnerships right now on some of our projects.
Okay, I'm familiar with Sassy and the management team there. What's your take on uranium?
Well, hey, listen, I've been exploring uranium ever since I got my degree in geology, and a long time ago. 75, I graduated from the University of Toronto, and I spent a good 10 years as a uranium exploration geologist. Mm-hmm. And I'm a firm believer in nuclear energy back then. And the reason for that whole uranium exploration period in the 70s was, the nuclear build that was going on around the world at that time. Through the 60s and 70s, all of a sudden there's 440 nuclear reactors around the world providing nuclear energy. And that was precipitated by the Arab energy oil crisis in the early 70s. So the last phase from 2004 to 2012 was dubbed the nuclear renaissance. And I really firmly believed that was underway for sure. Mm-hmm. Fukushima put a little dent in that. Yeah. But it's back here again, and people recognize that this is the answer for a net zero 2050.
It does seem like the only clean energy source, or the cleanest energy source at scale that the world could use. Do you agree? Obviously.
100%. I mean, the only other one is hydro. But I think long gone are the days where people are going to be accepting of flooding vast tracts of land. I mean, here in BC, we've got our Site C development, which is about the same size as a 1,000 megawatt nuclear reactor. And its footprint obviously is huge compared to maybe 5 acres of land that would be affected as a footprint for a nuclear energy power station.
Right. Would you say that governments around the world in 2022 sort of helped out a lot of the utility companies that were maybe not so sure about the future of nuclear energy, and sort of gave them confirmation, say bias confirmation, that there indeed are going to grow and put more money into nuclear and build infrastructure for these reactors?
Well, I mean, all the COP conferences have slowly over the years gained acceptance that nuclear energy is really the only source of a net zero 2050 solution. Yeah. So there truly is an energy. We know that there's an energy transition going on right now, right? Yeah. to get out of fossil fuels. So how do we replace oil, coal, and natural gas power generating stations? Certainly the oil and coal ones. I mean, nuclear is really the only answer that's going to provide baseload power, and we need baseload energy. Renewables have their place, but they don't provide power 100% of the time, 24/7. 365 days a year. Yeah.
Obviously, you're really busy running this company, but do you kind of try to keep up with the supply demand of uranium at all?
No, absolutely. I mean, there's the energy transition, number one. Yeah. There's the electrification of to get rid of fossil fuels. There's the electrification of the world in transportation and manufacturing. You see that going around. So that's energy demand. Right. So energy demand is going to be electrical demand is going to go through the roof. It is going to go through the roof. There was a study done by SNC Lavalin on engineering net zero, and they figure that in Canada alone, if we're going to meet all these goals, you're going to need 3 times the power that we have here in Canada, and that's just Canada.
Yeah.
So that, there's the energy demand scenario, and then thirdly, energy technology. I think small modular reactors, just to answer your question, small modular reactor technology has been around for a while, but it's starting to go into commercial application.
Yes.
You've seen here in Canada that the Canadian government in its infrastructure bank has committed $1 billion to that development, and that there's a small modular reactor in Ontario that's going to be up and running in 4 years.
Right. Yeah, back home in Pickering, which I'm sure you're familiar with, I just heard that there's
I used to live 2 kilometers from the Pickering nuclear power plant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
East or west of that?
Oh, I was on right around Brock Road.
Okay. Yeah, so I heard, they keep saying they're going to shut that plant down, but I do know some people that work there, and there's some significant rumors that they're going to extend that another 30 years.
Yeah, it's not going to shut down. Ontario gets 60% of its energy from nuclear.
Right.
So you shut down Pickering, and the lights are going off wherever.
They don't have a solution for it.
Anyways, I think from the standpoint of it's going to go another 30 years, is that these nuclear power plants have been really over-engineered for long lives. And you're seeing a lot of nuclear power plants meeting all the regulations of the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission here in Canada to extend their lives, because they've been so well built.
Mm-hmm. So nuclear is not the only commodity that you're chasing in the ground on planet Earth. So you want to talk a little bit about your other projects?
Sure. We diversified into energy metals around 2018. Things were really grim in the uranium patch at that time.
Right.
We certainly saw the demand for electrification in the transportation area, and everyone's buying bikes, electric bikes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So in automobiles, of course, which is huge demand. So we just decided to focus in Saskatchewan and started looking for opportunities for metals that were going to contribute to that battery metal technology, or you need a ton of copper.
Right.
to meet all this energy demand. So we got involved in some energy metal projects at that time.
Well, I believe nickel is, I think it's the #1 performance enhancer critical metal for getting more performance out of the batteries. Electric vehicles, I believe that's a real thing. So
the nickel demand is huge. I mean, the nickel that's being produced now goes into just basic economic growth in stainless steel and all those uses. We're going to need a lot more sources of nickel to meet the demand for battery production.
And there's 2 different classes of nickel, and EVs need the class 1 nickel.
Yeah, that's right. And but don't. Yeah, I wouldn't forget about old mother copper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, charging stations going in, the transmission lines for and all this electrical demand is going to need a ton of copper.
Right.
And what we got involved with in 2018 was a copper project called Janus Lake that Rio Tinto optioned from us, and Yeah, that was a great project. Rio Tinto unfortunately didn't get the budget in last year to continue the project in comparison to everything else that they were looking for. So we're currently just working on trying to make an arrangement with Rio Tinto to get that project back.
Okay.
And they put a lot of good work in that, like $14 million worth of quality work. So
you can use that data.
Tons of value.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the management team that executes on this every day, and you're a geologist, and I think you had someone new come on board. Yeah,
Dr. Rebecca Hunter is our new VP Exploration. When we made the acquisition of the Cameco claims in Nunavut, I gave Rebecca a call because she was the project manager for Cameco at that time, and she was the brains behind that the discoveries that were made by Cameco during that period.
Well, that's pretty significant.
It is, and so she helped us on a consulting basis, and then we were actually here last year at Roundup and VRIC, and I said, Rebecca, would you like to work full-time for us? Maybe take on the role of VPX, and she said sure, but she had to finish her last her job into September, and she came on board this past fall and was appointed VPX in December. So we're really pleased to have her on board. She's going to be a great addition to the team.
Anyone else on the team we should talk about?
Yeah, well, Ken Wheatley is now, he was our VPX, and he's now taken on the job of chief geologist, so he can just focus on the geology and not a lot of the admin.
Yeah.
So Rebecca will be taking on more of that, so he's a key member of the team. Yeah, and we have good people that are involved in our community engagement program in Saskatchewan. Alita Brook is developing relationships with First Nations in Saskatchewan for us, and we plan on building up that capacity as we move into Nunavut. I've got a great young geologist that's come on board, Martin Kula, and then Kevin Milich is our logistics coordinator.
Okay.
Good team.
What are you looking to get out of Roundup and VRIC this year?
Yeah, so we're here at Roundup, and I'm meeting with a number of companies with regards to maybe taking on our Janus Lake Copper Project. Mm-hmm. That's one focus. The other one is we're having a number of joint venture meetings with our partners. It's really a great time of year where the exploration community gets together in one place here in Vancouver, and things are kind of nurtured here, and they're closed at PDAC.
I was just going to bring up PDAC, and obviously that's probably about 4 weeks away or so. So what's sort of your plan going into PDAC? So you kind of want to just get things going here, and then, like you were saying, you kind of close things and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're really going to be focused with getting our project in Nunavut underway, because we certainly believe that that project has the potential to discover major deposits the size of MacArthur River and Cigar Lake and the Athabasca, which are supergiants.
That's a lot of blue sky potential, what you're saying.
You got it, and we've got a very good land position that's got a lot of good technical data behind it that Cameco provided, and we've got the ex-Cameco project manager to run the ship.
Brilliant. So Rick, basically for your current shareholders and potential new shareholders, they could sort of look forward to a bunch of news coming out, maybe pre-PDAC, post-PDAC, based on the movement you're making for the company right now in Vancouver.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the month of February is going to be very busy for us pre-PDAC. We got a number of opportunities on the table right now that we're trying to close. We've got a great project, uranium project in Nunavut that we want to advance. So there's a number of initiatives there that we expect will be closed by PDAC. Yeah.
Do you have a message to your shareholders that you'd like to sort of anything you want to tell them?
Listen, we've got a great portfolio of assets in the Athabasca. We're drilling right now. We've acquired a tremendous asset, uranium asset in the Thelon Basin in Nunavut, which I believe will be a company maker for us. Mm-hmm. The stock is treading water around 11 cents. For a couple of months now, and our market valuation is what it is, but it won't be that for very long.
So lots of potential news flow for the company. You've got a good team put together. You're cashed up. So this is definitely a company that our community should follow. And if anyone wants to reach out to you personally to maybe have a one-on-one meeting with you, which I know CEOs love, where can they find you?
My email, by email, you can reach me at mazur@forumenergymetals.com. Flip me an email and maybe just put on the subject title, follow the money.
Follow the money.
Follow the money investor or something like that. And I'd be pleased to talk to them about uranium and uranium exploration and nuclear energy, because I've been an advocate, as I said, for a long time, and I think finally its time has come.
Well, Rick, I really want to thank you for doing this.
Okay.
I'm just staring at these beautiful mountains here. What a gorgeous scene, especially being from Toronto. You're used to it now, but it really is.
No, you never get used to it. I guess it's always nice to look out the window, but
it is.
We look forward to having a chat with some of your investors down the road. I look forward to that.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you do get that news flow, maybe we can check in with you around PDAC.
Yeah. Okay.
Back in your old stomping grounds.
Go back home. I'm gonna go visit my family who's still back there, and my 97-year-old father, who's still pretty sharp. So
that's pretty good.
Be nice going back to Toronto. And I worked in Toronto for many years as in corporate development for a gold exploration and development company, and I really think the Toronto financial community has a lot to give to our resource industry, and look forward to seeing them as well. I'll be going to do the rounds before PDAC on Bay Street.
Nice. Well, hopefully I see you in PDAC, and I'm going to sign off now for Follow the Money Investor Group and our community. Thank you again.
Okay, thanks a lot.